What's going on, guys? So the 2019 NFL Draft is in the books. Today we're going to do a quick Raiders recap for day 2 and 3. I already did a video for day 1. If you go over and check out my older videos, you'll see the day 1 Raiders recap. Today is going to be my recap of the whole draft and of our UDFAs, our undrafted free agents. I think we picked up some really solid players in UDFAs, so I want to talk about those guys as well, and I'm going to talk about our big names that we picked up in day 2 and 3. So the first one is Trayvon Mullen, who obviously we picked up in day 2. Now we traded back for Trayvon. I know maybe we were targeting Rock Ya-Sin or maybe even a Byron Murphy. I thought those were the two better cornerbacks, but they both got picked up before our pick. Byron Murphy went to the Cardinals, and then Rock Ya-Sin went to Indianapolis right before our pick, and then we were up on the clock and we traded back. I think we traded back because we realized that we could still get a guy like Trayvon Mullen, and we weren't necessarily that high on Greedy Williams. I know a lot of people are mad that we didn't draft Greedy Williams, but honestly, it came out before the draft that he was not a very physical player, that he doesn't play very physical. He shies away from contact, which is bad. Now, he might be a good ball, he might have good ball skills, he might be good at playing for the ball, but I really don't think that the Raiders want a guy that's just a ball skill player. They want a guy that's a solid tackler, that can play in the run, that can play against the pass, that can be effective in almost every scenario. And that's what a guy like Trayvon Mullen is. He's not, amazing. He doesn't have incredible speed. But what he has is the ability and the size and length to be a NFL starter and to be a solid, 1 or 2 cornerback, probably a number 2 on our team because we have Conley. And I think Conley is coming into his own and is going to be a number 1 cornerback for years to come. But with having Worley on the other side and now having the ability to switch in guys like Isaiah Johnson, our other 5th round pick, and a guy like Trayvon Mullen to back up get Conley and to back up Worley, I think it's excellent. I think it's a great selection. And not only that, but he comes from Clemson. I don't know if you guys listen to Watts Raider, but he was saying that he likes when you pick guys that come from the same team. And the reason is because they work well together and they're going to come into the league already comfortable with some players on their team, which gives them the confidence to excel at the next level because they're comfortable with the players in their locker room. So that's just a small tidbit. I don't think that's necessarily like the hugest thing or the hugest factor, but what I think that it is something that will allow our guys to have an easy transition into the league, especially our Clemson Tigers, which we drafted a lot of them. So Trayvon Mullen, he's not expected to be a day 1, star starter, but he might be a slot cornerback at first, or he might challenge Worley for the starting 2nd cornerback position on the team. It's very likely that our starting cornerbacks are Garyon Conley, Trayvon Mullen, and maybe Nick Nelson. And maybe Garyon Conley is kind of a backup. You don't know. Or Daryl Worley is a backup. You don't know. But anyway, if I had to guess, I would say it would go Conley, Worley, with Mullen as a solid backup, and Nick Nelson and our other cornerback in the slot, Nevin Lawson. So those would be our slot corners. And the other thing is, as I said on my last video, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but I said that the reason we had drafted Jonathan Abrams as a 3rd safety to have Carl Joseph, Jonathan Abrams, and LaMarcus Joyner as our 3 safeties is because I was saying we're going to be playing a nickel secondary, so a nickel safety position in which we have 3 safeties, 2 cornerbacks, and 2 linebackers. So, or maybe it's 3 cornerbacks, I'm not sure. But either way, you're essentially bringing another safety into the mix, having 3 safeties, and the 3rd safety is to cover tight ends in the slot specifically. So I think Jonathan Abrams and LaMarcus Joyner are 2 very good starters to be put into the nickelback safety position, and I think they can shut down guys like Travis Kelce, Noah Fant, and these big tight ends that are just running all over the league right now. So with Mullins, like I said, I don't necessarily know he's going to be a day 1 starter, but I think he's going to be a solid backup or the 2nd cornerback. He'll knock Worley out of his position, and we'll have Conley and Mullen as their starters. Anyway, either way, it's a solid pickup. It's depth along with our other cornerback Isaiah Johnson that we got. These guys are lengthy. They're solid players that have the huge upside to be stars. And that's what all you can ask for in a draft, especially in the 4th or 5th round. That's incredible value. So to me, the best pick that we had, and as you see in this article, it's called Max Crosby named Oakland's biggest draft day steal, and I absolutely agree. So real quickly, I just want to go over to my mock draft real quick to show you guys who I was mocking us to take. So this is the way I had broke down the mock draft. I thought that we should be targeting Allen at number 4, which obviously we didn't take, and then I was saying we should trade back to get a guy like Burns. But even if you look at kind of my original draft, I'd done one like a couple of weeks ago, and it had us taking Farrell at 24. So I still had us targeting Farrell. It just definitely wasn't at 4. And as you saw here, I thought we could have still traded back to get a guy like Burns or Farrell, which obviously we didn't do. But there's another article that I was just reading that basically said that there was nobody calling, that the Raiders wanted to trade back, but the phone never rang. So for everybody that's like, oh, why didn't you just call somebody? Why didn't you call up a bunch of teams and be like, hey, well, just think about the desperation that you would think of a team to call you up and say, hey, you want our 4th round pick? Come on, you want our number 4th overall? Take it. What are you going to give us for it? You know, it's one of those things where I think you show weakness by calling somebody and say, hey, I want to trade you my 4th overall pick. What are you going to give me? You know, a lot of these teams, yeah, sure, even just to hear what they're going to give you, but I don't think you're ever going to get what you really want, which is a 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick or a 2nd next year. We weren't able to get those things, or even a 1st next year, you know, if a team really wanted to trade up far, but we couldn't get those. So we took the guy we thought was the best player. And what can you say? We got Clelin Ferrell. I like him. I'm not going to talk too much about him because if you guys want to know my thoughts on that, just go over and see my other video. But what I want to talk about right here is a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is the tight end position. So we ended up getting Foster Moreau, and I know with Foster Moreau you might not see on this page because he's not on here, but I thought we should target Josh Oliver and Elise Mack, and we ended up not targeting either of these guys. Well, Josh Oliver was gone in the 3rd round, so he went very quickly, and I didn't think we had a chance to get him. I think it was the Vikings or the Seahawks that drafted him. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, he wasn't there. We drafted Foster Moreau, who is a solid tight end. I actually think that, you know, he's not as good as Josh Oliver, that's for sure, but he might be better than Elise Mack. And he's probably going to be a solid backup to Lee Smith or Luke Wilson. But what I want to talk about real quickly is Tavon Connie, a guy that I thought we could have picked him up in the 5th round, or maybe even late 4th, because we didn't have a 4th round pick, so this would have been kind of our early 5th round pick. I thought we could have picked up Tavon Connie. We didn't. But guess what? We still picked him up. We got him as an undrafted free agent. And Tavon Coney was slated to be one of the steals of the draft in the 5th round because he is an excellent player coming out of Notre Dame. And as you see here, a guy I thought we should target in the 5th round as well was Max Crosby. That's who I saw was a true 3-down defensive edge. I thought he would give us great depth. If we couldn't get Chase Winovich, we would take Max Crosby in round 5. And guess what? We took Max Crosby in round 5. So I was right on that pick. As you see back in my other, in the 1st round, I was also right with my Josh Jacobs pick. So overall, I would say we took 3 or 4 of my picks, maybe not all in the draft. As I say, like Tavon Coney, we picked up late. And we also picked up Lester Cotton. So that's one of the things I want to talk about is our UDFAs real quick. But before I get to that, I just want to show this grading that we were given by NFL.com. So NFL.com gave our overall draft a B+. And they say even with a shaky day 1, they still give us a B+. They started the day with their highly publicized 3 picks of Farrell, of Jacobs, and of Abrams. So it just talks about that, but then it also kind of goes into our 4th round high effort rusher in Crosby in the 4th round as well, and the corner of Johnson. So they're basically, you know, bringing up that our 1st round was kind of iffy, but once they saw what we were doing in day 2 and day 3, once they saw the pick of Crosby, once they saw the pick of Johnson, they realized that we were adding solid depth to our team of guys that have huge upside. And in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, that's exceptional. That's what you want to do. And just as he says here, if Cullen can prove to be as good as John Gruden and Mike Mayock believe, this draft will be a home run. Oakland did a great job of grabbing quality players at their biggest needs who can provide leadership going forward. It will be fascinating to follow this class in 2019 and beyond. I couldn't say it better. Couldn't say it better. Those are my thoughts exactly. So now what I want to do is just go over the undrafted free agents real quick. So we picked up fullback Alec Ingold from Wisconsin. We picked up Dylan Mabin, cornerback Andre James. Now, none of these guys I think are really going to even make the team. These are special teams players. But the two guys that I really want to point out here are Lester Cotton, guard, Alabama. Watch his tape. He's phenomenal. He is one of the best guards, I believe, in this draft class. He played for Alabama. He played against Clemson in many games and held his own. One of the best defensive lines in football. 3 picks in the top 17. Lester Cotton was guarding them consistently with Jonah Williams, and they did a pretty good job. So I like this pick. This Lester Cotton pick is phenomenal. I actually was thinking we should target him late. We didn't. We got him anyway. And same with Tavon Coney. 2 guys that were both slated to be steals in the second or third day. Steals, and we got them undrafted. Undrafted free agents. We just picked them up. Amazing. This is great. That's great work. That is everything that we want to see from our management and from our general manager and coaching staff, to be able to find these kind of guys, to know that they're incredible players, and even if we didn't get them in the draft, to be able to pick them up undrafted. So I think day one, Lester Cotton and Tavon Coney are starting players. Day one. I think everybody else on here probably won't make the team. We're looking at special teams players. I think Coney and Cotton make the team for sure. James is another interesting player. I think he has a chance to make the team. And I think that this guy also has a chance to make the team, Ronald Ollie. Other than that, I don't think any of these other guys are going to make the team, unfortunately. That doesn't mean that they won't. That just means that I don't necessarily see them making the team. But other than that, you know, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that, you know, some of these grades that, you know, I don't agree with some of these grades that we've been getting from some, you know, this is from Silver and Black Pride. So like C for Jonathan Abrams. I really don't like that. I think that a lot of people don't understand the nickel safety and the position that plays in today's NFL to shut down tight ends. I don't think people understand that position nearly as much as they need to. And because of this, people are giving us a C grade for Abram because they don't understand. They think that he's going to push Joseph out, or they think that, you know, Joseph won't have a place on the team and this was just a pick that we didn't need to make. I disagree. And I think that Abram will be the kind of guy that leads our defense going forward. Trayvon Mullen, they gave it a B-. So, as I said, we were dead set on getting a cornerback. They just thought maybe we could have gotten a better one, like Greedy Williams. As I said earlier, I don't like Williams because he's not able to make contact. He doesn't want to be physical. He wants to make plays on the ball, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I love that. You know, Garyon Conley's the same, but Garyon Conley is also extremely physical. He plays man on man and he does it effectively. I don't think you'd get that out of Williams, and this is one of the reasons we didn't want to take him. We wanted somebody that was going to play physical, somebody that could be a leader and who could play against the run. This is why we didn't take Greedy Williams. Matt Crosby, as I said, phenomenal pick. I love it. B-. I think it should be an A- or a B+. It definitely should not be a B-. I don't understand who's grading this, but Max Crosby, if you go look at PFF, he was their steal of the 5th round. If you could have got him in the 5th round, we got him early 5th round, but you know what? He is one of the best defensive edges in this class. He just needs to get on some more strength, some more power, and he's going to be one of the best defensive edges in this class. Mark my words. Mark my words. And then they're giving an A to Isaiah Johnson. How do you give Max Crosby a B- and an A to Isaiah Johnson, a guy that won't even be starting? Sure, he's unbelievable size. Sure, he's got exceptional length and the ability to play man on man, but he's not a great player. He's very raw. He's going to take a lot of development. He's not going to be a starter. He probably won't even play that much this year. So to give him an A and give Max Crosby a B, it's crazy. Anyway, so you see the rest of these picks: C+, B, A for Quentin. Overall, they're giving it a B-. I give it a B+. I think that this draft is exceptionally well done. Gruden and Mayock, all the love, all the props that you guys deserve. Great draft, great job. Thanks. Like, share, comment, everybody. Let me know what you guys think. Have a great day.